Duke Jeyaraj, and what a joy, the three of us here, myself, Nagaraj and my son Dale. We had to give out tracts outside this IPL 10 game featuring Sunrisers Hyderabad outside the Opal Cricket Stadium. What a joy for us. I was just thinking as to why we should be giving out gospel tracts to spectators. One obvious reason is that I don't believe Jesus called any of us to be spectators or seat warmers in the church. Jesus called us to be soul winners. Jesus called us to, move out of the four walls of the church and meet sinners out where they are and give the gospel to them. And today is Palm Sunday, incidentally 2017 Palm Sunday. I have harmony of the four Gospels, Matthew 21, Mark 11, Luke 19, John 12. All the four Gospels talk about the events of Palm Sunday, Jesus riding on a young donkey to Jerusalem to be crucified for us. And in the Palm Sunday narrative, we find several things about evangelism. For example, the why of evangelism. In one place there, Jesus says, because the disciples are making a big noise, shouting Hosanna. Some people were disturbed. The religious leaders were disturbed. They asked them to keep quiet. And Jesus says, if they keep quiet, the stones will start crying out. If they keep quiet and they don't shout my name, the stones will start crying out. So which means this is one why of evangelism. If we don't take the opportunity for evangelism, the opportunity will go to somebody else. So three of us, and the invitation went to several people. There are a lot of, literally about hundreds of them in my WhatsApp list. But three of us took the invitation. But the opportunities for evangelism, if we don't take it, will go to somebody else. Even a stone, that's what Jesus says. So that's one reason why we must evangelize. So that's the why of evangelism. What of evangelism? You read the same narrative, read Matthew 21, Mark 11, Luke 19, John 12. I encourage you to read all the four chapters in full. Now one place Jesus says, this is what he says. He says, he looks at Jerusalem. As he enters Jerusalem on the donkey, he weeps over Jerusalem. And he says, it's Luke 19:42 in fact. There's a movie when I was still in college called 1942, A Love Story, featuring Anil Kapoor and Manisha Koirala, a lot of my college mates and several young people at that time, their hearts used to skip the beat talking about Manisha Koirala and all that. She was the beauty queen. But Luke 19:42 is still a greater love story. And the greatest love story, in fact, is talking about Jesus' love for Jerusalem. He weeps over it and he tells the Jerusalemites, if today you'll find the way of peace. The way of peace is himself. He's the way of peace. He is the Prince of Peace. He says, my peace I give unto you. So if you have a relationship with me, you'll have peace. At least today, if today you'll find the way of peace, that will be great. But Jesus says you are not willing. And that's the gospel of peace. That's what we give out in printed form. That's the bubbly tract that we give out. It's talking about Jesus who came to give his peace to this peaceless generation, to this generation who's always oscillating and there's a vacuum in their heart. So that's the why of evangelism. And then that's the what of evangelism. And we study the why of evangelism, what of evangelism, and the how of evangelism. John 12:14 says Jesus chose a young donkey to ride on. Matthew's account talks about a mother and a donkey, mother and its colt coming in, mother and its kid donkey or a colt donkey, whatever you call it. So Jesus rode on the young donkey. So that's the method of evangelism. God's method of evangelism, that young people, and I am 42 years old, I still think I'm young. Nagaraj maybe in his late 20s, my son is still a teenager. He's looking for young people to ride on. So that's the method. So when you're old, I tell young people, when you're old, a lavatory journey becomes a problem. Going to toilet becomes a problem. You can't do any missionary journey at that time. Now this is Jesus' method, riding on young donkeys. The young people need to come. And when the young people receive the gospel and go and preach the gospel to the ends of India, ends of the world, then the world will be totally evangelized. That's the method. So I can go on, and we're so glad for this opportunity that we have, standing by the roadside near this cricket stadium, to give out a few tracts. And I want to invite my friend Nagaraj to pray. Nagaraj, would you join me here and pray for these people who receive these tracts?
Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord of Father God, for this time that you have given us, Father God, to share the gospel of Father God, Lord, to distribute the tracts of Father God. We pray that each and every tract of Father God that we distributed, Lord, I just pray as they go home and see to Father God, I pray pray that people, Lord of Father God, will see you, O Father God. They
Yes.
will know you, O Father God. Lord,
Yes.
out of all these tracts that we distributed, Lord, we just want to see, O Father God, that there is someone who is struggling with everything. Lord, I pray that, Lord, as they read it, O Father God, they will be delivered and they will be witnessing you, O Father God. We
Yes.
thank you, Jesus, O Father. We surrender every tract that we distributed. We surrender it into your hands, O Father. We pray and we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity that you have given us, O Father God, to share, O Father God, to involve in this tract distribution, O Father God. We thank you, Lord, of Father God. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Yeah. That's my son on the camera as well.